Hello, everybody. It's so good to see you today. We're with Rosalind Fung today. We're going to talk in this Money and Me Mastery series. She is a top expert, and we are going to speak secrets about the mindset, manifesting, spirituality, and money. It's not really separate, but a lot of people think that's the thing. And we're here today to help you raise your inner value. It's that inner elevation thing that happens because you got to go in. That's why you're personal development junkies, right? You're spiritual entrepreneurs and heart centered business owners, conscious leaders. You're here for this reason. And even though you may have done so much money work or none at all, this is going to help you in every aspect on every end of the spectrum. So I'm going to first give Rosalind a proper welcoming. Rosalind Fung is an intuitive mindset and visionary business coach specializing in client attraction and soulful sales. She is an international speaker and best-selling author, mastermind and workshop facilitator on topics of self-love, mastering your energy, money mindset and attraction marketing through speaking and leveraging social media. Rosalind is a host and catalyst of her new podcast, Activate Your Soulgasmic Business. She is a co-author of the international best-selling book, What's Self-Love Got to Do with It? And Rosalind has been featured in Huffington Post, CBC Radio, and has spoken for Fearless Woman Summit, This Woman Means Business, and Harvard University. As a former psychologist of over 10 years, a second-degree black belt in karate, and a Reiki master, she combines the power of neuroscience, psychology, and spirituality to help you get out of your own way. Unapologetically show up and activate your soulgasmic business in a fun, bold, and sexy way. Let's magnetize your soulmate clients and monetize on your calling. Well, this is just delightful. We can't wait to see you. I've been waiting for this for so long. Happy New Year! Happy New Year! So thank
Thanks
you for
for having me here. I'm so excited. Hello, loves. Welcome.
Well, it takes something to show up for something like this. So thank you for your time and effort and magnanimous spirit.
Of
And I'd
course.
like to go ahead and start right in and find out what money stories were passed down to you from your family that still stand out from your childhood. And I know this is like a revealing type of a thing to do, but we can't wait to hear your story.
Absolutely. Well, I'm happy to share any money stories that will support the audience to think about their own money stories and how it's impacted them and if it still does to this day. And I certainly hope that as I share my stories and my wisdom today, that helps unlock some things for you as well. So for me, I'll start back to like my background and just the generation I grew up in. I am first generation Chinese Canadian. My parents are from Hong Kong, and my dad is an accountant, and my mom, she started out with running a day home and then working as an employee in her life. Background wise, my mom was born into a big family. She has 8 siblings, on a farm life, so lots of feast and famine lifestyle and mentality. And then my dad, he has 2 other siblings, so smaller family. And his dad was a business owner, and he made hospital furniture, so they actually were quite wealthy. And so um, me growing up, it's interesting because I did not directly have conversations with my parents around money like most of us, I think, right? We would see our parents usually arguing, and that's really what I saw. My mom would often be in, when I look back, of course, I didn't know that back then, but I could see she was in lack and scarcity mindset. So lots of panicky, lots of worry, lots of like guilt trips on my dad when he bought things that were not on sale or if he spent money on something. And he wasn't an extravagant spender. He's an accountant, so he was very calculated, but you could see how money was not a very easy topic to talk about between them. And so for me growing up, because there weren't the money conversations, but I was experiencing my relationship with money by having allowance, and then also earning money from getting good grades. And if I got higher in an bracket of the percentages of my grades, I got more money. And so actually, I will tie this story back into later what happens in my business. And so when I was about 16, I got my first credit card. My parents linked it to their bank account. They saw me as a very responsible young teen, and that's where I could be a little bit more independent and go and buy my own clothing. Now, we grew up in a very modest home, and my parents still they paid my credit card for me. I didn't really work until I was about 17. They really wanted me to stay with my school and focus on that. I was a very, we'll say, quote unquote, good student, and my extracurricular activities. It wasn't until, let's fast forward to about when I was 20, and one day I decided to buy myself a pair of jeans. And right after my purchase, and the jeans were $20. So not a whole lot of money, in the big scheme of things. And so I noticed I felt guilty. And I thought, why am I feeling guilty for buying a $20 pair of jeans? And this was my first like real awareness around my relationship with money. And I'm like, oh, whose voice is that? Like I'm recognizing, it said it's not on sale. And oh, it's my mom's voice. Right. And I remember like consciously telling myself, that's my mom's story. That's her beliefs. And at this point in time, I was a student of psychology. It was in my undergrad. So I understood a little bit of psychology at this point. And I could actually separate it out and go, well, what story do I want? Because I don't want to feel guilty for buying jeans for myself, because I like these jeans. They make me feel good. And that's the story. Like I'm worthy of this. And so I remember from there, recognizing when my mom's voice was in my head around money and really like telling myself, no, that's not my story. It doesn't need to be. And then I would reframe it. Fast forward to when I first entered private practice as a psychologist. Now I'm in business. I know nothing about business. I'm like, oops, I accidentally got into private practice because I thought I was applying for a non-for-profit organization. So that was a beautiful accident, because that was something I knew since I was a young girl. I wanted to be a psychologist in private practice, and well, manifested by accident. Is anything ever really an accident though?
Right.
And so I learned quickly about private practice, quickly about charging clients and how to do that, how to take money, and track money, things like that. Um, and I remember, because I was a provisional psychologist, which means you're still you're in process of becoming registered. So you still need to get your clinical hours and supervision and write the national exam, all that stuff. So at that point, the going rate for us was $100 an hour. And then the recommended rate at that point was recommend fee, sorry, it was $160. And so when I became registered, it was like overnight, like a jump then. It's like, I remember talking to my colleague, I'm like, I can't just start charging 60 extra bucks. I don't feel worthy of that. It's like nothing has really changed except that I'm registered. And she's like, exactly. Like you earned it. I'm like, I really had to look at that. I'm like, but I don't feel worthy of it. And it was just really interesting. So that, I didn't dive in deep around money at that point in time, but it was awareness again. Looking back, I was like, oh yeah, that was totally part of my money story. And so, I did eventually charge 160 or like quickly after that. And clients would be like, no problem, of course, register now. And so that was helpful to have that feedback. And then fast forward. So I was the first psychologist in my province to create an online program, which is a lot of red tape. But I'm a bit of a trailblazer and a badass, and I have a huge soul mission. And I recognize, and like for me, I'm just like, well, I see the results my clients are getting. Why wouldn't I put out something bigger out there for more people that I can reach, right? And so um what happened was, I was the time I was specializing in food and body image, which are doorways, deeper doorways into aspects of ourselves, just like money. There's actually a lot of similarity between food and body image and money. And so um I started a coaching business about 4 years ago. And I remember fast forwarding to a VIP day I was having with my business coach. And we were talking about my the money I was bringing in. So we were doing like income brackets. And so here comes the full circle. Um, I was at let's say we were doing like 5 income brackets. I was at the second level of the highest level of the income bracket. And I was just like, yeah, it's okay. It was fucking awesome money. Sorry, I hope I can swear, but it was freaking amazing money that I was making for someone who just started. I was charging more as a coach than I was making as a psychologist, which also was a whole other level of things, which I can talk about in a bit. But I was like, I don't know why. I don't know why. Like I should be happy. Logically, I should be happy that I'm making this amount of money because that means I'm working with clients, but I don't feel like it's good enough. And it wasn't until I was chatting with my dad later on to realize, like, oh, okay, he had said something and it just triggered my memory of, oh, every time I earned a higher percentage in school, I got more money for it. And probably back then I programmed, oh, it's not enough. It's not enough. I could do better. I could do better. Right. And so I really did struggle with self-worth. And so I recognized that that was being mirrored, and here it comes up again. So I had to really look at my own money story even more um, closely and intimately, because I didn't want to be driven by money. I did not want money to be a thing that's going to determine my happiness. And that I really believe that was a pivotal point where I really woke up. Just a few months prior to that, when I started a coaching business, I was still a psychologist. I really struggled with money in that way too, in charging, because as a psychologist, I didn't realize this. I was hiding behind the money because we're covered under benefits, so no big deal. And as a coach, you're not covered under benefits, so it's literally in your face, right? So that was my first piece around money. And then this was like that next piece shortly after that. So I'm just like, holy shit, I got some work to do. And then even raising my rates later on, I really had to look at, okay, like, yes. And I hate this phrase when people say charge your worth. Let's be clear. Our worth is inherent. Our self-worth is inherent. You can't put a freaking price on it. But we need to charge for the worth of our services. We do need to put a monetary price on that. And so for me, when I up leveled, I really had to, and I love helping my clients with this today because I gone through it, right? Like look at, okay, how can I like literally energetically match and feel good about that price that I'm charging, that price tag. So that was a lot more money work to go through as well. Yeah, so that's kind of been the roller coaster money journey I've been on. I could also talk about one with sales, but maybe we'll leave that, and then that might come up later in the interview, because I feel like sales is is related with money, but it is like a whole separate container in itself as well.
Do you want to do it now? I do want one.
I can talk about it now. So for me, and I feel like a lot of spiritual and entrepreneurial, like heart-driven entrepreneurs can really relate with this. It's like, you don't want to feel salesy. And you feel like, why would somebody pay for what I do when they could do it themselves? Like, it's almost like our gifts are so common sense. It's so natural to us. we forget that there are our gifts and they're unique to us. And so oftentimes asking for the sale is really tough because we don't want to feel greedy or selfish or that it's all about the money. And so again, if there's resistance around that, there's more work to be done. So for me, I really had to look at what's my relationship with sales. Why do I feel salesy? Like just the if it didn't, I may not have come across as salesy on the outside, but like internally, like I felt so uncomfortable asking for the sale. And it led me to my memory of when I was about I want to say like 8 to 10 years old, and I was on vacation with my parents, and we were in a timeshare meeting. And I remember I was, I'm not going to be participating in the meeting. I'm going to read a book because I'm not, I'm a little girl. So all of a sudden, I hear like yelling, and I get startled, and I look up, and I see it's two salespeople, one female, one male, like literally aggressively leaning over the table at my parents, who were like, oh my God, like leaning back. I can still see it in my brain right now, like that picture of aggression, and my parents looking scared, and I could feel them being cornered and pressured into buying this timeshare package. And I got so scared, I cried. I wanted to get out of there. And I remember my dad caved in, and my mom got really, really upset. And then they started arguing. So that was pretty traumatizing. And that was my first conscious memory around sales. And so for me, I recognize, holy shit, like no wonder I feel salesy, because that was my model of sales. And I had to work through that to release some of the trauma and the beliefs around sales. And so today I see sales as service, as sharing, as soulful. And really, it's so important to know that as we are showing up, doing our work, we do need to have an energetic exchange. And in this case, it is money. Money is an energetic exchange. Here's the thing, money is neutral. Everything in life is neutral until we put meaning to it. And how we do that is based on our belief system. And so when we feel the resistance, when we're noticing something's not working for us, we need to look at our own beliefs and be like, why is this not neutral? Why do I feel very triggered by this? And how do I want to feel instead, in this case, in my relationship with selling, with money? And so I really had to work through that and be in a different energy, and it took a bit of time, but obviously I love sales now, and I think it's so fun and so soulful, and I love to teach it now today.
That's perfect, because the story, the thing that is the hardest for us is usually the thing that's the turning point, because there's that side of the dark into the light. It's always that. It's the gateway. It's the gateway. Um, I love your story. It's wonderful. So now you're serving your community through the things that you learned. Your first like traumatic experience. That is really traumatic, as for an 8-year-old kid to like
Goodness.
yelling and working
Yes.
crazy. And your family, then your parents cave. No, I mean, you have a whole construct of programming there, or conditioning,
Yes.
that you had to unhook,
Yes.
so
Mm.
evidently too, you did say something about that you thought you were signing on for uh, a thing, and instead ended up in how did you say
Oh,
that?
well, you mean as a psychologist?
Yeah, when you
I
did
thought I
that.
was signing up for like a non-for-profit organization, and then it was actually a private practice.
Which to me, just I really want to laugh, because that is you being guided beyond your nose. I mean, beyond your awareness. You're just like, I thought I was, doing for a not-for-profit, which has really good value
Yes.
system there, and yet instead it's plopping you into a business. It kind of said, no, Rosalind, you're going to go here, boink, like
That's
on a.
right. Yeah, totally divinely guided. Everything is. I mean, back then I was not spiritual. I was very masculine, very like operate from head up. You know, I was an overachiever. I was a perfectionist. And in fact, you know, you can see the themes that would go into when it comes to food and body image. I got into bodybuilding, very masculine driven. So, yeah.
Get it. I've been there, done the same thing, and then changed my life forever.
Yeah.
So, do you have a crystal, like when you are doing your manifesting, is there something that you do that gives you a crystal clear image of yourself as having the abundance, as
Yes.
having the, yeah, could you share that? Everybody get out your,
Absolutely.
pencils
Absolutely.
right away.
And I hope that I can, as I'm sharing this, I can break it down for people to really get the practical action steps as well, because I, as spiritual and woo and energetics I am, I also love to bring in the psychology and neuroscience. So I'll tell it through a story though, but for me, it really is about embodying the vibration. So I'll tell us like my I always set goals for myself. So goals in every single area of my life. And since we're talking about money, I set a goal even this past month, for this month, to make 30K, 30K month. And so what happened was I literally manifested it within a week. I'm like, oh, that was easy. Okay. And it really was easy. Like a year ago, I wouldn't be able to like say this. And so how did I do this? I teach about mindset, soul, and strategy. And what I really want to emphasize is your vibe, your energy, the vibrational frequency that you're at will always trump strategy. Because here's the thing, our vibe is based on our beliefs. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. So if your beliefs are focused your attention is focused on your limiting beliefs, playing small, money isn't important, money doesn't matter, I'm greedy if I want more money, you know, things that often we actually tell ourselves. And there's absolutely no judgment about that, but I want you to be really clear. It's important you are clear and you're aware about what kind of relationship you're going into with money. So now you can totally adopt this one. Money loves me and I love money. I love money, money loves me back. Right. And so it's just like life. I love life and life loves me back. And so when we actually believe it, like feel what that's like. So for me, I was like, who is that next level version of me when I'm making X amount of dollars? What is she thinking? Who is she being? How is she different than me now, the version of me now? What are the things that I'm no longer doing that I'm doing over here? What do I need to let go of? What's the distractions? What's the limiting beliefs that this version of me that's not even a thing anymore, right? And that's how we collapse time and quantum leap. And so I want to bring the neuroscience in this too, because that does sound really woo. And I know like, I used to watch people say this and I was like, what the heck are you talking about? So I'm going to bring in the neuroscience with this. So there is the map of consciousness. And this was founded by Dr. David Hawkins. And he basically measured the energy of emotions. Okay, so at the very lowest is shame. At the very highest is enlightenment. And so you can feel shame is a lot heavier and enlightenment is obviously lighter, right? And this map is divided into two vibrations, so low vibrations or force and high vibrations or power. And so at the very top of the low vibrations is pride. If you think about pride, it's like wearing a mask, your mask. You've got your ego still going there. You've still got you're not being vulnerable. You've got to, for me, it was perfectionist, overachiever, psychologist hat, like my titles, my status, how much money I was making, all my success, what society thinks I need to be, and I will be that. Right? And then the the first step into the high vibrations is courage. And that makes sense because it takes courage to really look at yourself so that you can start stripping away your mask, away your ego, so that you can really look at who you really are. Because we are not how much money we make. We are not our titles. We are not what society sees as like defines as success. That's not who we really are. You know, at the core of all of us, we are love. We are light. We're born that way. You look at babies, they're just like, oh my God, you know, we are so perfect. And we forget that because shit gets projected onto us. So just remember who we really are. And it takes courage to really look at yourself and really look at the stuff that you've been avoiding. That's why self-sabotage happens, right? Because we don't really want to look at our shit. But when you take courage to look at stuff, like look at your relationship with money, and look at your beliefs with money in this topic, right? Then we start to vibe higher as we do our work to shift those limiting beliefs into beliefs that are working for us and through us out of love. And so we want to vibe higher at love, peace, and joy. And so when we're vibing higher at love, peace, and joy, what are the affirmations that you're telling yourself? What are the beliefs you hold and you actually like your body holds it to on a cellular level? That's what embodiment means, right? And so again, back to that exercise of who is Roz going to be when she's making X amount of dollars, which would be doubling what I'm making now, right? Who is she? What do I, yeah, and so it's being clear. What are the beliefs? What are her habits? What are her practices? What is she operating? What is she delegating? One of the things that I really love to help people do is have awareness and then have new beliefs. And it's going to take you a while because these limiting beliefs didn't happen overnight. So it's not going to change overnight to all of a sudden these beliefs. But let me tell you, when you get into consistent practice of practicing, you can tell yourself, I'm in the process of knowing I, whatever that would be for you with the money manifestation, knowing that money loves me and I love money, knowing that it's safe to have money, right? Like a lot of people don't believe it's safe to be in a relationship with money. Some of the habits I see people do is they, you know, even if you receive money, which that's also an issue. A lot of heart-driven entrepreneurs struggle with receiving. They're like, oh no, we block abundance unconsciously because we don't want to receive it. Or if we get it, it's like, holy moly, we get so uncomfortable seeing our bank account get so big, much more, that we have to like give it away. We impulsively spend so that it's back to like what we are used to, right? And so being clear about, you know, what are your money habits that are not serving you, not supporting you, not going to help you get to that next level version because you're so busy surviving over here. And so once we get really clear and clean up our beliefs and look at entering a new relationship with money that where we know it's safe, it's love, and money is important. Don't tell yourself that money is not important. I used to, and I remember my business coach was like, don't say that, or else the universe is going to tell you, fine, I'm not going to send you more clients. And I was like, oh, okay. So I had to work through, okay, why do I think money is not important? It's because I feel like I would be greedy. So here's the thing. Money is neutral until you put meaning to it. And how you do that is based on your belief system. So money is important because it's a resource. It is a resource to help us receive and create the experiences we would like, that would create fulfillment in our life. So for some of us, that might look like traveling. I know for myself, I love to invest back into myself. I'm obsessed with personal and spiritual development. I may invest also, of course, in my business. I love to contribute 10% of my proceeds in my business go to some of my favorite charities. And so you got to be clear about what are the homes you put your money in. I have investments. These are really important. These are really important aspects of your relationship with money that you must consider and you must have conversations with. And don't be afraid to reach out to an expert. I mean, you've got Angela here. My husband and I, he is actually a financial planner. So I have men around me that are related in the financial industry. And for fun, we call ourselves Pleasure in the Bedroom and Bank, because my master's is in marriage and family therapy. And so I've worked a lot with couples. My husband, as a financial planner, works a lot with couples. And then, of course, I teach money mindset and wealth consciousness. So we bring all that together to inspire other couples to have sacred, intimate conversations around money. And of course, how you do one part of your life is how you do all parts of your life. So that kind of vulnerability and that kind of like conversation starts to move into the bedroom with that energy of sacredness, sensuality, and the vulnerability is really huge. So yeah, that's a huge part of how I I embody money and the energy of money.
That's great. So it sounds to me that you really come to a place in your life where you experience peace and ease around money. How would you, from your perspective, help or tell others that, that how would you tell them to best find peace from blah blah blah? Can others best find peace with money from your perspective?
I really believe it is getting clear. So, just kind of like what I said, clear about what are the limiting beliefs, what are your money behaviors. Maybe even just look at that first, because then we can get to the beliefs that drive those behaviors. So, I listed some behaviors that may not be serving or supporting. And it's really important you bring in self compassion. Come in with non judgments, come in with curiosity and be like, because you cannot be curious and judgmental at the same time. So when you're curious, let's get really curious about how the behaviors I have around money. What's serving me? Let's write that down. What's not serving me? Am I impulsive with my money? Do I give it away a lot? Do I hoard it? What are your money behaviors without judgment, with curiosity, and looking at which ones serve and support you? Of course, then you'll want to continue that, right? And I'm a huge believer in being coached, having mentors, having support. And so, get connected with money coaches, with financial planners, with accountants, with bookkeepers. I have a whole money team in my business because that's really important. Let the experts do their job. And so that helps me learn as well. I mean, I need to know what's going on in my business, of course, and having those conversations. So to find the piece is educate your awareness and educate yourself. Hire an expert to help you get educated. We, unfortunately, growing up in our school systems, we don't learn about relationship with money, unfortunately. And I think that's so deeply important. And so, I think it's really important to get educated to become empowered in your relationship with money. You have full control. That is our birthright, to have full control over our relationship with money. We don't have to let our emotions get in the way. And so when we can get educated and then we can have a plan. So, having a husband, I'm his number one client, of course, as a financial planner. Being able to talk about where our money is going, with what investments, how they're doing, being able to see where we allot or allocate our money. We can have conversations like that. If I was too emotional around money, I wouldn't be able to. Money and sex are the top two things that break up couples. And so it's really important we get a handle on things. It's like, what's your money story? What's your money story? So we don't let it clash, and so education, I think, is a huge part. And then having a plan, and then also bring in the energetics of money, knowing that it's neutral, knowing that we can move into when I say the energetics of money, manifesting, right? Which I talked about a little bit earlier, is who are you becoming, and who will you become when you have this amount of money? And again, I'm really clear. I'm not driven by money, because there are people who are so loaded with money, but they don't feel fulfilled. They feel so empty inside. And so what's really important is that we stay aligned with our soul purpose and the money comes when you are so aligned and you're taking action aligned in your purpose. The money comes. That's just comes with it. It's just that's the abundance.
Yeah. It is because you're in a groove or on a track that says, I know what I'm here for. I know
Mhm.
how I can help. Because when it really boils down to it, in the enlightened stages, you're looking at that chart,
Mhm.
emotions.
Yes, a map
Uh,
of consciousness. Yes.
the when you look at enlightenment, everyone who's enlightened, not one person is driven by money ever. And they don't even need it, in fact. And I'm not saying you're going for enlightenment. Most people really aren't anyway. You guys, we're just trying to get up
I would
through
like
the.
to ascend. Yes, though.
And for those who are, they're probably, they may or may not be listening. They don't need to. They can hear it all across the universe. But anyway, what's important here is that this exercise that you're talking about who am I when, or when Rosalind is XYZ, you're actually going into the state of nowism,
Mhm.
right? The nowness of being.
Mhm.
um, and from that point of view, it actually shifts time, like you said. And I can't remember the thing I was going to say because I got off track, darn it, but I'm just saying it anyway. But for you to, I love how you're bringing it in. This is everything to do with money. Let's put it this way, has
Mhm.
everything to do with how we value ourselves, our inner value, what we believe. It's that placement of meaning and value upon it that weighs a certain thing. And
Yeah.
as stuff like delayers and comes off, we actually lift higher into the higher frequencies more easily.
Mhm. Mhm.
I love everything how you've explained it very clearly. It is about clarity. It's not about chasing. It's about being in your purpose. When you're in your
Yes.
purpose, you kind of sit into your body, right? You relax
Yes.
into the body that way,
Mhm.
and you kind of allow the universe to come up behind you, grab you, and kind of take you like you were going to do the nonprofit thing, but instead you joined this other thing. The universe literally came to you and
Yeah.
just got you
Mhm.
in, right?
Yes.
So I'm glad I remembered what I was going to say. It's
Ah, I like to see that as like you're magnetic, right? I talk about magnetizing your soulmate clients, which then, of course, if you're getting clients, that means you're making money, right? And so you're magnetic, you are not chasing. And the magnetic piece really does come from owning your worth, owning the value of your services, and standing in that power, and then being clear. Of course, then the strategies do come, but your vibration is the highest form of the magnetism. It feels good to be around people who are fulfilled, who are joyful, who are literally embodying the energy of love. And so I feel like that's so deeply important, is be you, because when you're trying to be someone else, people energy doesn't lie. People can feel that. When you still have mask on, people can feel that. That might be your blind spot, and this is why I preach about the inner work being the most important work, right? The success of your business only goes far as your psychology. And so keep working on yourself. If there's anything to um, to really move forward in your life and your business, is by really embodying self-love, self-worth, and knowing yourself even more at the deepest core level.
That's why I call in the spiritual development junkies, because
Yeah.
it's been my very important. But that whole idea of magnetism, I just want to touch on that for a moment. It's literally, if anyone has ever seen a tuning fork, you hit the tuning
Mhm.
fork, it goes ring. Magnetism on that level is not, you're not doing anything. You're just ringing as this tuning fork at
Yes.
this level, and everything rises to match you. Have you ever been in a room like with someone who's really maybe depressed or a bummer? Every people kind of like, oh, you can feel it go right. And so when you lift up into these higher realms, uh,
Yeah.
that sounds woo and whatever, but you know what? I've had people say to me, well, I'm not that spiritual. I'm like, if you didn't have a spirit, we couldn't have a conversation, because the body does not run without one.
Yeah, we're all souls having a human being experience.
Absolutely. So our car case is really just like the carcass. I know it sounds creepy, but it's a thing. Like
Or
this
meat
car,
suits.
the car can't drive without it. So you are actually very spiritual. So,
Mm.
uh, for the benefit of our viewers, what glowing piece of wisdom can you impart about around self-care? Like, how do you take care of yourself within the scheme of your work-life balance?
Thank you. I love this question so much. So, just to put things in perspective, I have a very full life. I have been married with Dan for 18, sorry, we've been together for 18 years. I'm happily married for 14. We have two very high energetic boys. I don't know where they get that from. At this time of recording, Everest is 8 years old and Logan is 6 years old. Fun little facts is obviously Everest is a mountain name and Logan is the highest mountain in Canada. And so it's very, very full in my family life as a wife, as a mom. I have my family here. So my parents and my brother, and then I have a tribe of friends as well. So for me, I am so fulfilled with life because the thing is, I put the most important relationship first, which is my relationship with myself and that with spirit. So practically one of the things I do first thing in the morning after I wake up, after I go to the bathroom, is I will do mirror work and I'll look in the mirror and I will look at myself in the eyes and say, "Good morning, beautiful," or "Good morning, Rosalind. I love you. You are enough." Oh, here comes Logan. Mom life. Hi. And you want to be on this interview, lovey bud? Yeah, you want to say hi to Angela? Oh, here's Mom life. Oh, you don't want to say hi, Everest? Okay.
Hey, hi, Everest, anyway.
Well, while they're here, so what's happening is Friday nights are date nights. Bye, sweetheart. I love you. Okay. Bye. Mwah. Asking for help is a superpower. So I love you, boys. I'll see you later. Okay. Bye. Mom life, real life, real time. So what happens is, sorry. Say I do mirror work, literally 30 seconds in mirror. I talk to myself and I'll say, "Good morning. I love you," just like I would with my kids. I talk to myself. As much as I love my kids, I love myself. And so that's been years of work. Okay, this didn't happen overnight. I really used to struggle with self-worth. And mirror work is so powerful. I'm so proud of the person I see in the mirror. And so, I do my mom duties and enjoy breakfast with my kids, and then they're off to school. And then my routine comes in where it's body before business. So I work out for 30 minutes, I move my body, I clear whatever I need to clear. I raise my vibration with the energy, and that's what keeps sometimes the best downloads come in when I'm moving my body. And so I get ideas for business, I get really in my creative energy. And then I will meditate and I'll journal. One of the things I love is this prompt, and I'm going to get you guys to write down this as notes. Today I call in. And so you can call in. Some days I write exactly the amount I want to call in, or how many clients I want to call in, or how I want to feel, or the focus. I want to call in more focus today. I call in energetics. And so what's really cool is with this practice, I literally can manifest that same day, the thing I'm calling in, which is amazing. It's practice, and it's also embodying. Self-care also looks like what I just said, asking for help, right? So making sure that because in our society, we are taught asking for help is a weakness, unfortunately. And let me tell you, I would not be at the level of my life and my business without asking for help, whether that's hiring help, like team and delegation, or in my life, my brother, my parents are such amazing family members that support my husband and I, so that him and I, Friday night as we're talking, we go on date nights every Friday. We have our couple time. And so that's really important. I make sure to time block self-care throughout my week as well. So on my Google Calendar, it's pink. So I need to see a lot of pink. I make sure, I do martial arts as well. So I make time once a week for martial arts. I make sure I see a friend, I catch up with a friend or a couple friends during the week. So that me time is really important, to really make sure that I'm taking care of me and coming from a place of overflow, of joy, of energy. Because what good are we if we're burnt out?
Yeah.
We're not good at all, right? And so I feel like money comes in here too, because money is an energetic exchange. If you are not charging appropriately and you're undercharging, or you're like, not charging at all, what good are you going to be if you're burnt out because you're not having the resources, financial resources, to go and take care of yourself, to pay for that babysitter, or to go out for dinner, or to go and do the things that you love to do, travel, whatever that is, right? So it's really important for you to see money is energy and money is a resource and tool.
Yeah, because you're really talking about an abundant lifestyle. I mean, it's like how
Mhm.
you do everything is how you want things, how you do everything. And you're seeing it all across the board here with Rosalind, right? But that's what she's showing you right now.
Yep, literally my kids walks in. That's they're going away for night.
It's getting dark here, so I hope it. Okay, hello. We can still see me. Okay, so rather just talk to you anyway. So you're offering us a beautiful free gift, and I know that you guys have already received it. If you haven't, go to your email and check out today's email because it has Rosalind Fung's perfectly gorgeous free gift in there along with this interview. So you might have it, but in case you don't, we still want to hear what it's about.
Yes, please do go grab it. So, because I specialize in client attraction, I'm sharing 11 key ways in how you can attract your soulmate clients. And some of these tips are, we kind of talked about them, but I want to make sure some of these might be nice reminders for you, or there might be new awareness for you to start moving into those activities. So, please go ahead and download the client attraction checklist. I can't wait for it to get into your hands.
Oh, I can't either. You have like 11 different points or something, right, to take a look at.
Yes.
And that's going to match perfectly for this because sometimes if you have done money work or you haven't, if you have done it, a little pride can sneak in, right? Pride
Mhm.
can be like, I already did that. Ah, be careful because pride is right underneath of courageousness. So if you're
Yes.
pride, you won't have the courage to see what else is left. And if you've never done it before, you could feel like, oh, let me push that away because I don't really want to deal with it. It's kind
Yeah.
of scary. But this way, you get to see something in a bite-sized way that's digestible and start taking a look at where you can shed some junk out of the way. It's just easy. Just could you allow it to be easy?
That's right. That's
Right.
right. And I want to say, like, that's a really great point, Angela, is that I believe the biggest abundance block is this statement. I already know that. Soon as we say, I already know that, we are literally not allowing ourselves to go, what else can I learn about this? What else?
Mhm.
How else can I go deeper? Because every time, even if we heard it before, every time we read a book, we watch another course, we take another course, whatever that looks like, or we hear something over and over again, as we evolve, every time we hear it, we can take in different pieces about that. And so I really truly believe like we are blocking ourselves when our ego's like, I already know that.
Yeah. Yeah. So come to this with a fresh mind and a fresh face and an open heart. And I am been so happy that you did this. We have a really good vibe between us and everyone watching. I know you're receiving it. I keep saying this to you guys. Will you receive? Just
Allow
take it
yourself
in
to
right
see.
now. Drink in the nectar all the way to your feet. Get up and drink up Gaia juice, the Earth Mother. I know that's like a whole other thing. Blah blah blah. Okay, well, you have come and you have given us such great stuff. We're literally darkening here, so and I have no other light source. But it's been
You still
such
look
fun.
really light. So your lighting did not get affected.
Beautiful Milky Way light. But anyway, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I can't wait to do some more with you like this. It has been such a pleasure. And
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I certainly hope you, as the audience, the viewers, received a lot of golden nuggets. please go, knowledge is not power, it's implementing the knowledge that's power. So my wish for you is to go and implement this knowledge. And of
That
course, I'm here for you if you feel called.
that is it, because experience trumps knowledge. And I say that because you cannot write about what happens in your mouth when you bite into a lemon. You can't write about it or read about it. You cannot, right? So let's get the experience. Excellent. Thank you again. Love you.
Beautiful.
Ciao for now.
Bye, loves.